me back. We gon' set this thing on fire, lay hands on diseases, yeah, that sickness is gon' die, Jesus interceding at the right hand of the Father, so my spirit refreshed like www.
Hello and welcome back. I am your host, Prophetess Taryn Tarver Bishop. We are here with Lifeline TNT True Story. Backed by popular demand, the relationship expert, sex guru. Come on now, give it up for neuroscience doctor, Dr. Ryeal Sims.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Ryeal, I had to bring you back because everybody loved our talk that we did about the way the body functions, how God created us to be with sex, relationships, understanding things like kissing and the DNA composite and all the different things that God has made us to have to where we can function and have healthy relationships sexually as well as relationally. And being that you are the relationship guru and the author of the Neuroscience of Relationships Worldwide, I wanted to bring you back so they could ask you some questions. We have a group of people that had a bunch of great questions they want to ask you too. But first and foremost, welcome. We're glad to have you.
Thank you for having me back. Absolutely. Yes.
So, doctor, let's just cut to the chase. All right. Let's talk about sex. We talked about relationships and how we can keep our bond at the last session. And people were very interested in the session we did before that about sex, kissing, how the body science mechanism that God created for us to function works. And like sometimes people are kissing and why Christians are like, well, what line, what's getting too close to the line? You know, when they're not married, they're like, what's too close to the line? What can't I do? Just tell me what I can't do. And I remember years ago, I was in the place like, how close to the line can I get? But then later on, it was like, no, I was so in love with Jesus. It's like, I don't want to get close to the line because I love him and I don't want to do anything that might jeopardize my relationship or affect me mentally, because sometimes people think that like, oh, I can just, I have sex and I'm going to be fine. And many times men can actually have sex and not be completely mentally connected as women are. So what is the difference and why is it that women are mentally connected? I have a scenario that I've heard that I really liked before, but I wanted to hear, is there something scientifically that allows the women to bond more than men, and why are men able to like physically connect with the woman and then not be attached or have sex in their marriage and they're not attached? Or, what are the components that go into that and what plays a part in the mental aspect? And how's it supposed to be that way God created it to be?
Yeah. So one thing I want to say when it comes to woman is that she has a different concern when it comes to being intimate with a guy. And what I mean by that is she has this, if I'm intimate with a male, one thing that you have to worry about is pregnancy and being alone with that child too as well. So she has to be more pickier than the guy, right? And that's a real major concern as to why her choice is different than the male, because the male is just thinking, hey, I can just have sex and move on, versus on her end is I have to be careful because I can have sex with someone and be left with the child by myself. So that she's, that choice is a little different than the male's choice, right?
So is it this day and age, people are more likely to, years ago it wasn't even an option. It was like people understood, women, you're always taught, even now, like, let's just take the Christian component out of it for a second, Christ out of it. Not that he's out of anything, but it's like we want to be like real, where the world is looking at sex as this is something that everybody can do. It wasn't something that children used to talk about. It wasn't something that, let alone 10, 11, 12-year-olds are talking about. It wasn't something that teenagers were even talking about. It wasn't something that was open. It was like, women, keep yourself. Women, don't say no. Women, when men come, don't get into this. This is not okay. You're not allowed to. Like, this is not godly. It's not holy. It's not this. So you're raised thinking and believing that. But in this day and age, it's like anything goes. And I went to my son's school the other day, and the girls used to have a dress code. The girls got shirts all the way up. They can wear bras to school. Yeah. I was at my son's baseball game, and the girl had on a full-on negligee, and the sides were pulled up, and they had a corset and everything. I'm thinking, like, where are your parents?
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
Did your parents really let you come out like this? I'm shocked because everybody's so sexual now. And I remember we had a family member that we were helping, and they were going to stay with us, and the little girl, she didn't make it because she was like, you guys don't love me for me. We're like, you're 14. We're not giving you eyelashes out to here. Your nails are not going to be out to here. You're not wearing tops all the way up to here, bras to school. And she took that as, we don't love her for her. And I'm one of those people who want to write the school. I want to have, like, where's the dress code? Where's the situation? Like, what is this? My thought was, like, teachers. Yes, they're teachers, but, like, why would you even put that? These parents let these kids come to school with their children dressed like that, and they're wearing a bra in class for an outfit, and you as parents let them come out the house, and the school's saying this is okay. I don't understand that. So times have changed, where we're throwing sex at kids, it's on TV, it's everything, and people are not just concerned about, like, get pregnant, because if they get pregnant, now people are like, you can just go, you don't even have to ask your parents anymore, you can just go get an abortion. And now abortion is a form of birth control, and it's desensitized to the children. So this is a day and age we're living in where people don't even understand, like, keeping yourself and the ability of, like, the bonding mechanism of being with one person, husband, wife. They act like they got options, and this is just free for all, and and you got kids having kids, and it's just now common to have 5, 6, 7 kids and no husband, or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 abortions, and it's nothing unheard of. Right. And you have children that are talking about different things that at 4th grade and 5th grade, well, what sex are you going to be? Like, this is not where it's not even near the focal point that God had it, and it can be difficult. So I'm just looking at people now, like, what we used to know and where things are now. How did it get so far mentally desensitized, and how did sex become something that's not sacred anymore? And people have lost the art of, if I had to write a book, it'd be like the lost art of sex. What making love. Like, it was a private thing. It was a unifying thing. It was something that was supposed to be holy, sanctified, and God hasn't changed. He still desires that for relationships, but the minds of people aren't there anymore. So how do we get back to that origin of what real intimacy and sex and intimacy are two different things, but sexual intimacy, I should say, the way God intended it to be for a healthy relationship. Yeah.
So also finishing your first question too, and leading into that is these chemicals, these natural chemicals that's designed, is also bonding chemicals that bond you to the man or bond you to the child. And I think we had talked about this before, about oxytocin. So those of you who are not aware of oxytocin, so oxytocin is a bonding chemical that is released during childbirth. So this is what bonds mother and child, is the oxytocin. So, and some people call it the love chemical, but it also bonds you to a significant other. And when that happens, that could also cause you to believe and to even think that you're in love with this person. But really, your body is yearning for that feeling of the person activating the oxytocin in you. So the body starts to yearn for him, and you're thinking, because you're thinking about him, that this is love. that this is, I'm thinking about him, that means I must like him, right? But it's actually because of that activation from the oxytocin that it binds you. So these chemicals is something that we have to watch out for when it's, especially when the question that you asked about the women, why is it different than the male, right? And that bonding chemical is something that is, made for couples, right? Just when you actually, have that bond with someone else, that pair bond with someone else, that's actually what happens. And we're not aware that how easy that this can happen just alone thinking, I like this person, because I'm thinking about them. But it's really the body is yearning for that feeling. And
it's the feeling when, once you've had it, then the feeling is activated. And because I know there's moments where, single moms don't think about this, but boys have that time where they have that first wet dream thing. And as a single mom, you don't think moms aren't thinking about I have to have this talk with my son that this could happen, and he's gonna wake up and there's gonna be stuff, and he's not gonna know what to do with that. Single moms don't think about things like having those kind of conversations. Just like as a single mom, I didn't think about when boys go stand in the bathroom. You can tell the single moms from the other ones because the single moms, they didn't teach them not to pull their pants all the way down to their ankles and have their buttocks sticking out. Single moms don't think about that because you don't go in the urinal and you don't think about other man standing there. So you're not thinking about telling him. And if you walk in and the guy's pants are dropped all the way down to here, his single mom didn't teach him that you can't do that.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a whole lot of things that you're as a single mom, you're not going to think about. So I remember thinking oh my gosh, I remember Isaac started getting a certain age. I wasn't married. I was to my brother, I'm can you please have that talk with my son because something's going to happen. So is it that time then time sensitive that a man thing is triggered, and from there on, do they have this feeling? Because I heard that it's men don't have periods, but they have a once a month. There's a feeling they get they want to have at least once a month. They want to have something happen. And I had a man that told me that one day, and I was really? He's yeah, once a month it comes out. I don't know if it was just him or if it's men. I don't know. So I'm asking you, is that what happens to men, or is it just regular that you always feel it, or do you have to have sex and then you have the feeling that you want to have sex? What is it?
Yeah, no, it's regular.
It's regular?
This is regular. Men, we're hardwired, we're designed, the male testosterone, and given that deep voice, given the chest, the bones, and all of that, and then the testicles, and then the sperm. So when it's built up, and when it's building up, and it gives you the urge to release, right? Because this is what we usually do when we're married, right? So yeah, I had so many things that I wanted to say too.
Say it all.
And
say please. Say it all.
So yeah, and I'm trying to go back.
Does it start at the young age, or does it start when boys first have that moment, or is it after you have sex? When does that start?
Well, sexuality. I know that this is gonna. It could start in the hospital when the child is born. There's studies to show that, you can find the baby playing with himself. That's how soon it starts.
What?
That's how quick it starts. So it gets, it starts as soon as possible. But what's happening is paradigm choice, and that's with social media is giving us so many options right now where we can't focus on wanting to be in a monogamous relationship because this choice that is giving us, and I might have said it wrong, paradigm choice, but it's something similar to that. But it's because we're having multiple choices out here, and it's being very challenging to men and women, because you're seeing now social media showing women, Instagram, all these different social medias where you're seeing sex everywhere. Back in the day, I mean, sex has always been within the market, within corporate market, right? You know, how do we sell a car? We put a woman, you know, how do we sell a stereo system back in the day when they had stereo systems, right? Even here in California, there was a commercial, a Carl's Jr. commercial. It would show a lady in a bathing suit eating a big burger and the burger's dripping and all of that. So there's so many ways that they would use sex. Now, I like when you mentioned about the parent, the single mother, the single mother giving some advice to the male. And I mean, back in the day, I just wanted to share, this is a tangential, just wanted to share this. This is something that I had learned while a paper that I had to write. And the reason why we have this cereal that's called the cereal and a cracker. The reason why we have Kellogg's cereal and Graham cracker. Now, it should be Googleable now. That is a word yet? Googleable? I mean,
okay. We got you. We feel
it should be now. But back in the day when the son used to wake up erect, well, then they thought that the son was possessed and had a mental issue, so they would send them to the insane asylum. So a parent...
Dr. Kellogg's.
What?
Yeah, a parent would actually turn their kids in
Yeah.
and say, my son is erect. So Dr. Kellogg
Dr. Kellogg
created a cereal
What?
to say, if you eat this cereal, it's going to help
you.
kids
Help you.
to be less sexual.
And he started exercise. He was
And
the
he
first
started-
one to exercise.
Yeah.
And he did he did, and this is his brother is the one that started the cereal, but it's
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Kellogg's that owned the insane asylum.
Yeah.
And so and everyone from Einstein to everybody he wrote many books and columns, and they would try to treat people. And so he developed, his brother actually first said, we'll put milk in with this granola,
Yeah.
the Graham.
Yes,
the Graham.
yes, yeah.
And the brother accidentally made a mistake one day, and later on they thought, let's make cereal.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they came out with the cereal and said this cereal is going to help men. Little
Before they
boys.
did that, I don't know if you know the history
Yeah.
about it, sidebar, a guy came over that they had as an intern, and actually Mr. Post.
Yes, yes,
And Post
yes.
stole their.
That's
their,
right.
And he created Grape Nuts.
That's
so
right.
Grape Nuts
That's where
was
Grape
created
Nuts
as a
came
health
from.
cereal. That's why it's a health
The
cereal
health
with
cereal.
no sugar. He stole it from Dr. Kellogg's
Yeah.
brother, and he stole it, and he started Post. So you saw Post cereal, and then later on, the brother, when the insane asylum had burned down,
Yes.
his brother came and gave him some money, and he gave him the rights to start Kellogg's cornflakes.
Cornflake.
So that's how
That's the
brothers. So
cornflake.
there's two brothers.
And you know the cornflake
Their
had
last
no
name is
sugar.
Kellogg's.
It was just plain.
Yeah. And he added
Yeah.
sugar later on to it, malt
Right.
and sugar and stuff, a little
Yeah.
sugar. It was just plain.
It was
so
just plain.
because grape nuts, they had to make it a little bit better tasting than grape
Yes,
nuts.
right.
And so everybody
Absolutely.
ended up liking Kellogg's cornflakes. He used to sign his name on it,
Yeah.
on the box, because he said, had to differentiate himself from his brother that was the science doctor,
Yeah.
Dr. Kellogg's that helped people with mental anguish and distress, and he was an exercise guru and how to eat better, and he didn't believe in sugar and different things.
Right,
And
absolutely.
so that was how
Because he felt
it
that
came.
was also
It was
one of
contributing
the
towards
contributing toward the male
Yeah.
being erect, and
I'm
so
a total
they were
nerd,
turned
you
in.
guys. I'm a
and
total
if
nerd,
if the
so, yeah.
female got caught playing, touching herself too, then the parents would turn them in, and actually, just
They had
take
to
them
go-
away.
They had to go to the
Go to
asylum.
the same asylum, yeah.
Until
And
they
then
got
and then Graham also tried to do the same thing. So that's why you got the Graham cracker. So when you go in the store and you see graham crackers, it's the exact same thing that they were also trying to come up. Graham said, "Oh, I can come up with something, and I can this will work."
So they're trying to
although
cure,
neither one worked.
They're trying to cure something
but they
that
still
natural.
kept the cereal.
Got it.
You know, so that's why we have Kellogg cereal today.
Yeah.
And then, then they took it, and then the Frosty Flakes, and then that's when they added the sugar on it.
They started competing with Post.
Competing with Post.
Post and Kellogg's had a whole competition. Till Post killed himself, and the daughter took over and created General Foods. And that's why we have frozen foods, and she bought up everything.
Yes.
Yeah, it's whole. I watched a lot of.
And that's on the documentary Who Made America. Foods from America.
Yeah, Foods That Made America.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this is true. So they thought foods contribute to these things. They, didn't understand things were just naturally components as they studied them as years went on. So, they tried to fix those things so it wasn't working. It wasn't like they didn't realize this is natural. But now, they used to be that Ozzie and Harriet, I don't know, you guys don't know what that is, but Ozzie and Harriet was a TV show. They couldn't even sit on the same bed together. I Love Lucy was, I think, the first ones that kissed in TV, on TV. You just couldn't. You couldn't even sit on the same bed.
Right.
So things have evolved. Marilyn Monroe, when she came out and she started, you look at her bathing suits, that was nothing compared to these bathing suits today.
Yeah, absolutely.
They weren't sex symbols, and so that was your sex symbol before, or the what's her name that did the bananas, the black lady, the dancer. Not Dorothy. Was it Dorothy Dancer? No. Josephine Baker. It was unheard of, but Paris, they had to do that in Paris because it was more acceptable and culturally. So the United States has more of an issue with sexuality. A woman breastfeeding just openly now, we would just freak out. In another country, you're able to do that because people have over-sensualized things that are natural. I saw a whole Facebook post about people, is it okay to give your parents a kiss? Could you kiss your kids on the lips? And people are like, at 3-year-old, I can't kiss my kid on the lip. I was like, you're crazy. I think that's crazy. But then all these parents were all off for the board of if it's okay to kiss your kids. If your kids can sit on your lap anymore, when do you have to stop taking baths with your kids? Can you when they're tiny babies now? Oh, that 1 year old, that's inappropriate. I'm like, in your brain, you guys are crazy. There's things that we've developed that now because of how over sexualized everything's become, people have lost the art of how God intended it to be. So I saw a question out there. Who has a question? Go ahead, real quickly. Go ahead. Right. All right, you got to get from Mike. Okay, you and you. Go ahead. You go, Cassie.
I have a question because we were talking about the urges that it could even come from a younger age or even in the teenage years. So I have twin identical boys, and they're teenagers, and they're at that age where they may get the urge, right, to want to, have that feeling or things come about them. So just as a mother, my husband and I, we've had conversations with them, but I just wanted to know any healthy ways that we can guide them and redirect them when they do have those urges or those feelings come about. What could I do as a parent to shift them in another direction?
Do you want to?
Yeah, too. One of the things too that one is educating our kids too. From a very young age, I really begin to educate them. One, as parents, I think we taught to take kids to church and let the Sunday school teach the kids about Jesus. But realistically, parents, it is your responsibility to teach your kids about power, about authority, about who Christ is. It's not good enough to say, Our Father, now you lay me down to sleep, and 10 Hail Marys and all that stuff. That's not teaching them who God is and how to know God. But that you have to educate the kids about a demonic side and about a side that can overtake you, and about addiction. And is it in your family? Is sexual addiction in your family or things in your family? You have to begin to teach them what to stay away from, and whether it's that or alcohol or anything else, or an issue with women, or if those different things, but also the effects of what happens if you're going to feel, you have to tell them there's going to be these urges. You're going to feel this. This is natural for a man, and they're going to throw these things at you. But you have to talk to them and communicate with them and educate them about themselves, about what is out there. Because you see in this church, people have spiritual spouses all the time. They don't even know where those spiritual spouses came from. You see Kirk Franklin, he said he was 6 years old and he bought Miss December twice, Playboy, and he watched them. And it opened up the door.
Yep.
You and then this, like, you think about like where there's the HBO at night when we were kids. HBO was really crazy. It was really raunchy. So, you know, or the we were the kids. They had this thing called The Box, and it's just like, you know. But nowadays, kids don't even need those things because it's on the TV being thrown at them. So you have to talk to them about their eye gate. You have to help them understand that there's something that's going to fight you. There's something that's going to try to enter you. There's something that's going to try to pull you. There's something like that. You have to teach them about resisting the devil for them to flee. So there are things at times like one, and Dr. Keller's had a little onto something with the exercise, but there's ways to actually kind of help yourself to relieve toxins from the body, stress from the body, your thinking, mentally, different things, the things they watch, aggression and different things. There's also just natural ways from that'll exert a lot of things in the body and remove some things in the body to kind of help you reset where you're okay to be able to function better. Like, just like if you exercise and you are have a mental anguish, when you exercise, serotonin is released in the body and you just feel happy. It's like the drug is released, and you're just like, woo!
Yes.
You know, I went through a divorce one time, and I was exercising like 3 times a day because I had clients, and I was so happy. But I still had real issues.
That's right.
But you
Right.
can explain that
That's
to them
right.
as why
That's
that
right.
happens.
Yeah, no, I mean, you said it. You know, the serotonin and all of these drugs that we talk about that activate the ventral tegmental area, the cardiac nucleus, the nucleus accumbens part of our brain, which is our pleasure center part of the brain too as well. And those are the pleasure centers that's so important that we release, that you could, you know, like you said, exercising, create a gym in the house with weights and things like that. Also introducing them to sports, right? And also something else too, teaching them what the definition of willpower, because willpower also is something that we're not taught about when it comes to, because all of us have different willpowers. Sometimes ours is stronger today, but then we have to realize not to put ourselves in situations where we have to test our willpower. So that's why it's so important to understand things like we talk about kissing. And I don't know if you guys was on the other thing, but can I break it down? It's okay to talk about?
Yeah, talk about it.
Yeah, because, and again, this is another thing when I'm talking about for woman, when we're talking about why is it, and the danger when it comes to kissing for you, is that when you're kissing, the woman receives testosterone from the male saliva. So that testosterone is going into that area that I mentioned in the ventral tegmental area. So the cardiac nucleus and the nucleus accumbens. So what that does is that creates the arousal. That's what that testosterone is for. And the male DNA knows that this is what I need to give her in order to get what I need to get. He's not even thinking this consciously. The body knows that kiss her, give her this natural neurotransmitter that will cause her to now become aroused, right? So when she becomes aroused, this means, this means the breasts. This also means something that we call the vasogression, tinting. Because this whole purpose of receiving the testosterone is also to help the woman to become more lubricated in the vaginal canal, but also too, it's also helps the cervix, pushes the uterus back just in case 10 to 12 inches goes into the vaginal canal and could damage the vaginal canal. Because sometimes when women say, I can feel the penis in my stomach, you don't actually feel the penis in your stomach. You're feeling your uterus hitting your stomach.
Oh, wow.
Because that's what's hitting. So the cervix tries to push the uterus back so it's not being pounded around, because this is something that happens that actually damage the vaginal canal. Because of course, Of course, the walls of the vaginal canal starts to swell because of the blood that goes into the walls to swell. So what goes in could grip, right? So anything, and then too, it could also, that's why you have to be careful too as well. And this message is to men to also understand that there's a process for husband and wives too as well, that this is a process that sometimes your wife may, and she may not have said it, that she's not pleased with the sex at the beginning because you're not allowing this process to happen. So this process is here so she now can enjoy the full sex. And that means allowing the vaginal canal to become lubricated, allow the walls to be swell so it could grip what goes in, and allows the cervix to push the uterus back. So now everything is ready. But sometimes what us men, we're already ready and we just jump right in and we can just damage because it's not lubricated, it's not ready. You're not, what we call tenting is vessel aggression, but you're not ready. So it's very important to foreplay. Absolutely. Foreplay.
So married women, how important is that foreplay need married women? We're not talking to you single women.
Foreplay is so important, and you wonder why you want to kiss.
Or formerly married women, you could speak to it.
Yeah.
Like, is that important? Was that important to you guys? Like, it's very important? Yeah, so the importance of spending that time of just taking your time is what you're saying. But what I liked what you said is that, like, a lot of times young kids, they're not thinking that far. They just like, we kissing. Yeah. And the body's like, the science of the body is like, we are procreating.
Absolutely.
We're preparing.
Absolutely.
So what he's saying is like there's a science of the body. It doesn't know as soon as you're receiving testosterone, you're like, how did we end up in the bed?
Absolutely.
Because all of a sudden all these other chemicals start releasing in the brain. And then what did you say? There was a whole bunch of
And remember what we said when we was talking about last week, we were talking about the all the chemicals that creates a cluster, a cocktail. And so when you have all of these chemicals that are starting to activate, right, then it shuts down the what? The prefrontal cortex. And now you can't, the decision making.
You can't make a decision.
So now you can't make a decision.
You went from kissing Christian people to all these other things and to the point of no return because your brain has released all these chemicals that it's naturally designed to release. You can't bind that kind of nature, guys.
That's right.
You can't rebuke that kind of nature.
That's right.
You got to use wisdom.
And especially when you're ovulating. That's the most dangerous part when you're ovulating. This is how people end up having sex in the first night, when they're, especially at a club. So when you're at a club, right, and you're ovulating. Now I have a lot of.
They go to the Christian club around here. This one owns a Christian club. So I hope wait, all you other ones, single ones, I may not catch you. I'm not just playing with.
So especially, yeah, when you're ovulating, you release a certain chemical called compulence.
Right.
Now I have a lot of some pushback with some of the science, because I'm a relationship scientist. So
you talk about both ways. I get it.
So with some people, they have some pushback, but you got to think about it. When we talk about scent, when we talk about smell, right? The smell wasn't to smell another person or another species. It wasn't designed just for animals to enjoy it, although animals could smell 10 times better than us, right? But what we have to understand is that the smell is there, our olfactory is there for us to smell. So we actually can smell each other, right? Our human leukocyte antigen is something that when we come in contact with each other, the first thing we do is no different than any other living, breathing creature. The first thing we do is smell. And what we're doing is we're actually smelling one's immune system. We're actually smelling one's DNA because it protects us from, if this person is walking around with a pathogen or a bacteria or some type of infection, we smell that. If a person has bad breath, what's the first thing we do? We back up, we put our hand over our nose, because that is the part of our brain that's called the amygdala. So the amygdala, it actually, once it's activated, it is protecting you. It's telling you danger, danger, danger. So it goes into the prefrontal cortex and it's telling us something's wrong, back up. No different than you're at home and you smell you're cooking and you start smelling burning, or if a house is burning. So smell is so important to protect us, right?
Wow.
So when you're ovulating, the male smells you ovulating. So when we see a female canine and we see male canines running after her, what do we say she's in?
Heat.
So we think it's only the debate. The debate is that this is just for animals. Think about this now. Come on, think about this. God didn't just create something like that to be just for animals, because you see, God is an entrepreneur. His business is to procreate, right? His business is to generate babies, right? As an entrepreneur, we generate money. His is I'm generating babies. So there's like there's 150 something thousand people that die every day. There's 350 something thousand babies that are born every day. So he gets a profit of 2 something, right? Because he's and why it's more than how many people that multiply.
Subdue the earth.
Subdue the earth.
Refill
That's
it.
right. And so that amount, when you say, well, why is it so much? Well, it's also because of, now remember I said 150,000 something, right? Well, why is it so much? How many that's born? Because we might run into a time where we might have a pandemic where people will die than the average people who are born, like we just had. So therefore, it would always, something that we call zero population is like when 2 people get married and you only have 2 kids, all you're doing is just replacing yourself.
Oh my God.
So you're not adding to the society.
Wow. Wow. Well, I added to the society. I had 5.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we
4.
smell the compulence.
You got 5.
When we smell, yes, absolutely. So you brought in 3. So
I brought in 3. I only brought in 3.
So when you smell the compulence, the woman's compulence, like the canine smelling when she's in heat, you're in heat. You cause the male to release a chemical called androstenone. So now you smell the androstenone. I'm smelling your compulence. Do you come to this club often?
What?
Well, every once in a while. So what's your name again? But now we're noticing that we're interested in each other because we're actually smelling each other, because the body is saying, I am at the point where I want to do what? Procreate. Because you're ovulating. You're ovulating. When you ovulate,
But people
that's
are doing
why.
this without even trying.
Without
What
even
I'm trying to say
trying.
is, like,
That's why
without
husbands are
trying.
all over the wife sometime and don't realize it. Because the husband is now smelling the wife ovulating, and that's why he's all touchy, and
That's how you got those twins.
and absolutely, because you're ovulating. That's why sometimes when you're laying down in the bed and you may experience this when your husband gets out of the bed, or vice versa, right? Now you're on this side, he's on this side, but you realize that you gravitated toward his side of the bed, or she gravitated on this side. Why? Because the immune system, his DNA is on the sheets.
Wow.
So you're attracted to his DNA.
This is so beautiful.
Yeah. 100%. Smell their clothes.
You smell the
Yes,
clothes.
clothes.
That's why.
They're
That's why when we talk about detox, because we mentioned detox several times. That's why we
Yes.
talk about when you detox, get rid of his clothes.
Throw
Wash
'em out if you
that
break
quilt.
up.
That quilt that's on the end of the bed. Wash that quilt. Wash the quilt. Wash the sheets. Wash everything. But what do we do when we pull his sweatshirt out of the closet? What's the first thing we do?
Smell it or you
We
remember
smell
it.
it.
Or you can
we
just smell
smell
it
it.
because it's already on there. Like
Because it's on,
the
his
perfume,
DNA
the
is on his
cologne is
sweatshirt.
still on it.
When we smell it, we think about him because we activate what we call the hippocampus, where we store our memories. So the minute we smell it, we think about him. That's why when you're detoxing, you got to get rid of everything. You got to get rid of everything. You can't even touch. You can't even talk because even the voice, there is billion-dollar company that have made billions of dollars based on just a voice alone, phone sex, right? Based on, so think about a person that you're addicted to, right? Because you're addicted to the chemicals of your person because love, again, is giving each other your chemicals, right? So just imagine now that you're trying to break up with this person and all that person has to do is to call you.
Or you see them.
Baby, I really miss you.
So good. No, you're breaking it down.
What you doing, babe?
Block, delete, void. I used to have this thing like for
That
detox.
voice.
Literally, if I broke up with somebody, no joke. Like, guys, seriously, if I broke up with somebody, not only would I go on a 5-day fast, that I'm telling you, there's wonders to 5-day fast. I had to strengthen myself, okay? Then I would make sure I didn't have any of their pictures. I would get rid of every single picture. I would block the phone call. I would block their Instagram, their Facebook. You just need time, a way to like strengthen yourself. And I found like it was easier to like get over someone. And I was telling you the other day, like, what if like I see, especially for the women when they're going through a divorce, and you know, if someone hasn't, because sometimes you know somebody's already attached themselves to somebody else, which. The reason he's saying these things are that your DNA and that time of bonding is just you and them. They're bonded to you.
That's right.
Just
That's
you and
right.
them.
That's
It's
right.
supposed to be
Because you're
just
giving
you
each
two.
other back and forth.
Back and forth.
Everything
It's
you're
just
giving each
you and
other.
them. You live
Yeah.
together. You're kissed. You're in the same bed. You're around them.
Right,
You're voiced.
right.
You married them. You're connected to them. Okay. Like, so if someone starts masturbating or they start mentally going somewhere in their brain, they start to mess up
That's
that
right. That's right.
chemical
That neural network.
process. Say it again.
That neural network.
Can you
Yeah.
talk about that real quickly? Because
Yeah.
there's some people I know that like if a man like or a woman or somebody moved on and they're messing with other people, it messes up that bonding process that keeps you together.
That keeps
your
you
DNA,
together.
because you're with other people's DNA, and it
right.
weakens your. Go ahead, break
That's
that
right.
down.
That's right.
Sorry.
Absolutely. You know, oh gosh, I got so much stuff. It's a story. Okay. So even I just like to. Can I just talk about how the best friend end up sleeping with the man?
Go ahead, talk about it.
I mean, it has something to do. It still has something to do
come
what we're
on.
talking about, right?
We need
You know,
the true
I just want to.
story.
Okay, all right. So check this out. See, so when so your girlfriend just broke up with her boyfriend. You feel sorry for her. It's your girlfriend, right? And so you and your boyfriend, you guys are at home. You're about to watch a movie. You know your girlfriend is at home by herself, right? And let me call Donna and have Donna to come over so she can watch a movie with us because right now she needs me. I'm her best friend, right? You know, so we're watching a movie and then tomorrow, let's go to the amusement park, honey. Yeah. Oh, but what about Donna? Can we call Donna? So Donna comes over. So now this becomes a routine that you're keeping your best friend around, right? Now I'm not saying don't look out for your best friend. I'm saying you got to be careful because chemistry is dealing with this. So you're keeping your best friend around, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard about the longer you have a best friend, your cycle.
Yes, they sing. They sing.
Right?
Your sisters,
Okay.
your people you live with, your teammates, yes.
So check this out. So if it's at the same time, so now you're spending more time, you got your girlfriend spending more time with the two of you guys. You guys are doing novelty stuff that we talked about, right? You're having fun and everything. And now you start ovulating. Who else is ovulating? Your best friend is starting to ovulate. Who's smelling your best friend's ovulation? because she's over here all the time now. She's even spending the night sometimes, right, for the weekend, right? She's over here all the time. He does not realize why. Now, and it starts with this too. It starts with the touchy, laughy, because he's giving jokes. He's telling jokes. And when he's telling jokes, Donna is like, oh, Mark, you're so funny, Mark. Starts to touch.
DNA. I put the DNA touch.
And that's when it starts, right? Because now you're touching, and now you're and when you're touching, he's also
the devil is alive,
and he's also smelling, and he's also smelling now.
Donna, you need to go.
And
home.
all those things that we had talked about, you see. But this is what happens. Now, the reason why I decided to do this study is because I needed to tell best friends how it happened.
Right, that's good. Delivered.
Because sometimes, now I know you guys might not like this,
We don't.
but sometimes I know how it happened. And why I want you to consider,
Yeah,
to think about
your choice.
forgiving.
Oh, forgive it.
Why you should forgive your best friend, because you also had something to do with the reason why they end up doing it. As much as you don't want to believe it, right? But you had something to do, because every day, because he didn't say call Donna.
He didn't say bring Donna over.
He didn't say bring Donna over.
Let her still have nowhere to stay. Let her stay at my house.
You kept saying,
nah.
bring Donna. Oh, we're going to watch a new movie? Oh, wait a minute. Let me call Donna. We going to go bowling? Wait a minute. Let me call Donna, because Donna's at her house. She's by herself.
So
and I feel so sorry for Donna.
She's experiencing all the fun
She's
times
all the
together. She's
fun.
there. Oh,
Everything that he is giving, everything that he's giving her, she's getting it too.
Now they kikiing and joking and touching. Now DNA is swapping.
DNA swapping, smelling, the immune system, the DNA. And again, what did I say? When you're ovulating, who's ovulating too?
She is ovulating.
Remember we broke down ovulating and the smell? He's smelling her too.
Oh, Jesus.
You are connecting all the dots.
And so the reason why, because I'm also...
Use wisdom, ladies.
I also work for the film industry too, for the science, right? And so this is one of the films that I plan to pitch to help other friends. Because now, again, I don't like the fact that two best friends are no longer best friends anymore.
Yeah.
So they need to understand how this happened. And so I'm just going to tell you just a little part of the story. Is that okay? So the mother, it was this mother. She's practicing on a camera, and she forgets to cut the camera off when the daughter comes home. When the daughter comes home, they're talking in the kitchen, and the daughter is looking through the photo album, and she sees, the mother's best friend.
Okay.
And she's like, Mom, what happened to Donna? What happened to Donna? And the mother explains what happened and how she ended up with Donna's significant other. But the daughter is a scientist. She knows what happened. She knows how this happened. So she is in search for Donna. She's in search for the other person, Donna or Karen, to explain to her how that happened with my mother. And if you could, now I understand if you guys say, I can forget, but what is it? What's the saying? I could. Yeah. So forgiving
Donna?
is strong. Forgiving is really hard. I know.
I
know.
Just say no.
Yeah. But see, the thing is that sometimes it's not about that I say yes or no. It's the chemistry, right? The chemistry that happened because, right, we kept inviting her over. We kept bringing her over. And back in the day, in the 60s, this information that I'm giving you right now, not even in the 60s, just back in the day, 30s, 40s, 50s, I used to hear my grandmother or great grandmother and all them, they be like, don't be telling your business to your girlfriends. Don't be telling them about how good it is. And don't be, and it really,
The old lady
that
said
advice
I
was
remember
really good
that.
advice.
Literally, the old mothers at church, like, and they said that, like, the Zimbabwe mamas and the Nigerian mamas, that they actually teach courses on sex to the women, and the men have courses on how to please your spouse and these things. And these things are taught. But I remember I was probably like 27, and I was in the kitchen with the old mamas, the church mamas. And they, like, girl, pick that up and get this, pick that. You too slow, move out. They just they yell at you and talk to you at the same time. It's their form of love. So one of the girls, she was like, you better stop talking about your man to that girl. And he said, well, Sean, that's my friend. She said, you over there talking about he does this and he does that. And she said, telling us a story about, she said, and this is an old lady, and she said, she was a church lady, and she said, she's over there talking about, all he want to do is screw. All he want to do is screw. That's what she said, all he want to do is screw. She said she went out of town, and the best friend went right over there and just screwed all weekend.
Because all he want to do is screw. Because she
And
like,
said, you over
all
there
I
talking
do
about
is don't
scat
get the
cat,
screw.
Scat cat, and he talking about, the cleanup girl talking about, here, kitty, kitty, here,
Yep,
kitty, kitty.
absolutely.
That's what she used to say.
Absolutely.
Jesus.
Absolutely.
They
So,
say, here, kitty, kitty, here, kitty,
Absolutely.
kitty, and they're wanting to, like, so you have to be really careful.
have to be really
who
careful.
You're talking to, what you're talking about.
That's right.
Who you're talking about. That's why I even have, like, there's certain rules. Like, look, don't talk to women and men. Don't go to a woman. That's just like your pastor or somebody you guys are talking to. Even it's like somebody that's for you. Don't go talking to other. No man should be talking to a woman about their spouse.
right. Absolutely.
And no woman should be talking to a man. Like you were talking about feeling sorry for that lady, and she had a breakup. Next thing you guys end up years ago, you were talking about when you were young in college that you ended up having sex with someone because he felt sorry for her in that moment, and things just happened. Something just happened.
Yeah.
Tears and lamenting, and you feel sorry for one another. You want to comfort. You start rubbing, just the touching in itself. So you have to be careful because
be careful.
people don't understand that they're creating a recipe for disaster.
That's
And
right.
they don't understand that you're actually inviting the enemy into your camp. And that's why the Bible is very clear about even like don't let the sun go down your wrath. And then so a man knows that his job, even he said, don't let the sun go down in your wrath.
Yes.
It's the man's responsibility. Not that it's not women's too, but the man's responsibility is to lock the house spiritually
That's right.
and physically and financially, supposedly. And there's a part where they have to make sure things are mended, and you guys keep that door, that relationship tight, because literally you have to recognize that the enemy will hope that you allow, if you have a tree and you plant a seed, before it comes a tree, it's easier to pluck it up when it's a seed. If you get it before you go to sleep, it's a seed. If you go to sleep and you allow it to wake up the next day, you have a tree. It's easier to pluck up a seed than it is a tree, cut down a tree.
Yeah.
And then if it starts producing fruit, it's because you allow day after day, night after night, you didn't protect it spiritually. You have to get up and pray. You have to strengthen yourself. You have to be alert. The Bible said, don't be ignorant to devil's devices. And you have to, the Bible even says, don't delay sex in your marriage, because if you do, you can open the door to the enemy. This is a scripture.
That's right.
And
Absolutely.
you shouldn't get married if you're not
Donna.
interested in pleasing your spouse, because it's not about you.
That's right.
It's about you being able to please her and her being able to please you. And you have to remember it's about one another being pleased. So you have to think about those things, because a lot of people are just so self-centered and self-focused, you're not really thinking.
Right.
I saw another question. You guys had a question? Okay. Here, ask a guess, and then we'll come to you. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, me.
Check.
Okay, awesome. So my question is, how can past sexual experiences impact intimacy in marriage, particularly when one or both partners struggle with comparison? And what steps can couples take to overcome these challenges and build a healthy sexual connection?
Want to go first or me?
One, I'll say that one of the things, ahava, the first part of ahava is to give. Ahava is the word for love. It's the Hebrew word for love, found in Genesis 22:2. Most people come into the relationship with the wifum. What's in it for me? Wifum. Everything is about you. WIFM is W is an acronym. What's in it for me? WIFM. So you're concerned about you, your needs, me being pleased. When the idea of God is to give. How can I please you? What can I do for you? We don't come in with you focus. So you're talking about I was having a conversation the other day with my son about marriage. He's 27. He's handsome in his prime. He's a boxer. And I'm like, so you're living with her? You gonna get married? Like, wait. He's like, oh, well, I want us to save some money. I was like, but you're doing that together because you're already living with her. You're playing house. You know, so I'm having the whole conversation like, you know, are you gonna get married? Well, I know she's the one, but you know, today you might try on some shoes before you buy them. I said, no, you can try on 100 pairs of shoes. Doesn't mean you're gonna buy those shoes. You know, I began to talk to him about like literally you have to be able to make a commitment and a selection, but but the key thing about that, what we were talking about here is you're getting married to give. Love is giving.
That's right.
I'm giving up myself. I want to see how I can please you. It says the married woman is concerned about pleasing her spouse. The married man is concerned about pleasing his spouse. So the key is pleasing. They want to please you, find out about you, help you, sow into you, grow you, love you, endure you, build you. But people are so self-centered and selfish, they make everything about them. When I feel like having sex, when I want to, it's all them and their feelings. So they're not coming in with the actual component of love, and the love is to give. If you love them, give it. Give them what they need. Give them the affections. The Bible I saw in the Amplified said, render the affections due.
Yes, that's good.
Give them the affection that are their due. Give them the comfort they're due. Give them the correction that they're even due. Like build them. Don't just watch them fall apart because you don't want to have a argument or something. You have to like say those tough things because iron sharpens iron. So you have to really understand if you're about loving them, he should be concerned about, if he's a Christian man, how can I make sure you feel good? How can if you like kissing, if you like foreplay, if you like those things, he's gonna make sure that you're getting what you need. And it's not about, well, I don't really like to do this. If you really love somebody, you're gonna learn to give what they like, and you're gonna learn to actually find that out together, explore together, and build something together, and find out what you like together. And then you have made sure they're pleased, and if they love you, they're gonna make sure that you're pleased.
That's right. Wow.
But the world isn't teaching that. They're teaching, what if the sex is whack? You're already coming in talking wrong.
Right. Absolutely.
What if it's what if it's this, and what if it's that side, and what if they're the wrong focus?
Absolutely.
And then, are you there for purpose? Are you there for God? Yes, sex is important, but it's about giving, and it's about building. And sex doesn't start at night. Sex starts all throughout the day. Did you send notes? Did you send cards? Did you send flowers? Did you send pictures of yourself? I'm not talking about. Well, you gotta be careful today sending pictures of yourself. You break up, people be posting pictures. No, like I'm talking about like videos of yourself, like, hey, like, you've been, hey man, I can't wait to see you when I get home. You ready? Be ready for me, like, because I'm thinking about you. It's the dinner you made. It's the love tokens. It's the touches as you walk by each other. It's those little things that are you willing to give that? Because you planted seeds, and then you have something that you are harvesting.
That's right.
Absolutely. But if you have a selfish person, it's all about them. What are you going to do for me? But go ahead.
Absolutely, 100%. It's definitely to make sure that you have that conversation and to understand that when it's comparison too as well, to understand that your ex isn't your present. You have to make sure that that's understood, that whatever she liked doesn't mean she's going to like it. So that's why communication is so important. What I usually tell some of the couples too is that Tonight tonight is not orgasm night. Tonight is discover night. So tonight is to actually discover each other and what you like, because it's so important to understand. So because we're so used to just having sex for the orgasm, so it's so challenging to say, well, how can we have a discovery night, And they have cards too that you could use, and the cards are saying, touch her there, touch her here, touch him here, and it's fun. It's a little, fun thing, so you could try that as well. So that's what I'm saying. Tonight is not orgasm night. Tonight is discovery night. This is when we actually talk to each other and like, well, what makes you feel good? What do you want me to do? How do you want me to do it? Is this right? Do you like this? Yeah, I like that. You should do that. Because sometimes we do articulate what feels good, but sometimes we're not listening, because when the sex is so good, I don't hear you actually, but women don't play. Women will tell you right there. I like it right there. Man, it's just, you're like, I told you right there, right? So we have to listen. And that's what I, tell men. You have to, also be a listener. My father actually taught me that. He said, you got to listen to her. If you are being intimate, listen to her. So when you hit certain spots, how does she respond? So you can figure out, spot number 1, right? Spot number 2, because she's going to articulate that. She may, moan, groan, scream, holler, or, oh, Jesus, or God, Lord, and, you got to hear those cues to tell you that this is what is pleasing my significant other. So it's so important to not just go, because us men, sometimes we think because we're a man that we can please every woman. You were not born to please every woman.
Wow.
You don't know.
Say that.
You have to have this conversation. A lot of us have not had a conversation. There are people who have been married for I don't know how long and have not had a conversation to ask her, what do you really like?
Wow.
What do you
Dr. Ryeal,
really
I heard
like?
a pastor was saying, ask when, and this is married people, please don't try this, single people. That when you are married, take time, and that day, this is today, anything that you want, I'm here to give you those things. Like, I'm here to be a blessing to you today. Like, you get to have your day. And you get, if you like to be kissed on the ears, if you like to be kissed on the neck, whatever it is that you like, it's that day that, and then another day, it's your day. But it's all about you that day.
That's right.
And then you have to be, I think that people don't tell what they don't even take the time to find out, to know, to study what they really like.
That's right.
Like you're saying. So they're in a relationship and they're unaware. And they're giving you what they want instead of giving you what you need.
That's right. Absolutely. And that's why it's so important not to be afraid to have that conversation. Because look, you don't have that conversation, you cheating yourself.
Yeah.
You cheating yourself. You have that conversation so you could be pleased.
That's good.
So you don't have that conversation and you just cheating yourself. You will never experience the ultimate sexual session with your significant other. You have to have that conversation, and that is so important. And that's what I'm so glad that we're talking about that, because that's what we don't do. We don't talk about this, right? We're like, oh no, we can't talk about this, but this is so important, and it's imperative that we have this conversation. Like I said, there's people who've been married forever and never had this conversation. Just imagine the woman or the man. He's probably having it. They're having sex. In his mind, if she can just. In her mind, if he could just. But you never say it. You never say it because, one, I don't, and what are some of the reasons? Well, I don't want to emasculate him. You're not emasculating him. You're not saying this. You're not embarrassing him. You're not saying this in front of people. This is something that's about you and about what you want and how you want to feel. So you can't have that fear. And I say this too, give your significant other permission to articulate that to you. Give him permission to articulate it. Give her the permission to articulate. Don't feel like, man, she might tell me, things that I haven't done. I'm a man. Dude, you are a man. You are not born to please every woman on this earth. You have to know how to please your significant other.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
really good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. We'll take this next one real quickly because we're almost at the end of our segment. Go ahead.
Check.
Oh, I thought you said we had 3 more hours.
Hey! Look, you guys, is this good, you guys?
This is
Good
amazing.
information.
Phenomenal.
Wait, you mentioned, hold on real quickly before she goes in. You mentioned detoxing. So the detox process, if someone is exchanging kids, if they are in a breakup, they're still like hung up on something and they need to get cleaned from that person, from their system. And they have to see them and they have to hear their voice. How do they do the detox?
Yeah. So that question is like, especially when you got kids, right?
Yeah.
And he's got to come and get the kids. He's got
Yeah.
to, try your best, especially if you have family. Try your best. If you have girlfriend, not Donna, but if you have girlfriends, cousins, to come over, and so your cousin could walk the daughter or the son out to the car. That way you're not seeing him.
I
Try
tried
your
that
best.
with my husband. I didn't see him for 2 years, and then I saw him. It was a wrap. What was that about? Like, I didn't engage with him. I didn't talk to him. I didn't see him. I thought I was over him
Yeah.
because I was like, oh, we're friends. We're just friends.
Yeah.
And I thought I was doing really good. I wasn't even
Yeah.
thinking about him every day.
Yeah.
But then there was that one day.
One day.
And it was a wrap. I was like,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
in the world is this happening? I was so upset with myself.
Yes.
I was like, I failed.
Yes,
I was like,
yes. And see how strong it is? See how strong it is? So what we talked about earlier, I'm so glad.
Kept us together though too.
Yeah.
Like if I heard a song.
Oh, that's what he did? Did he come home? Did he come over with a boom box?
No, he used to. No. He used to send me music, like,
Yeah.
and the songs, like, was that one? Like one time he sent me the song, I think it's Genuine, and I didn't even listen to secular music really, but like my whole life has changed since you came in, I think it's like Seasons or something it's called. I don't know. And then he sent me this other song, I don't know, some Drake song like Fire and Desire back in the day or something.
Yeah.
Clean version.
Yeah.
Clean version.
Yeah.
Clean version. And then he sent me, like, there was these just songs he sent me. This one. He said, you're so beautiful that a blind man could love you. He said, I ain't even touched you, and I love you. And these songs, and I loved the songs. And I really feel like these songs bonded us together. And I'm telling you, every time I heard those songs, I would think about it.
Yes.
Every time for like 2 years, I would think about him like every single time I heard the songs. I would think about him because I can't think of whatever else. I wasn't like snooping on his page. I wasn't trying to see him.
And did you ever make love with those some of those songs?
I never made love to him.
Like the songs were on.
We never had sex. We didn't have sex we was kissing and stuff, but we didn't have didn't have sex. Those 5 years.
But with
thank
those,
God, thank you, Jesus.
but with some of those songs playing though, if you guys were.
Yes, some of those songs were playing when we used to be hanging out.
Yeah, and if you hear that song,
In those 5
what's
years.
it gonna do? It's gonna activate the hippocampus. It activates the memory bank. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to figure out, like, how did it happen?
Yeah.
I was like, I failed.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm blocking, deleting. I was going ready to. and
So
then we
you
ended up
see
getting
why
married.
it's so important for that detox process, man. And it's good too that some people actually see the significant other every once in a while because you could now track where you're at.
Where you're
right?
at? Every now and then, okay.
You get like, oh man,
But I thought I was really, really
seen
good.
him today,
Like,
and
I
I'm
would
not
see
even
him
thinking about
I saw him like in those 2 years. I think I saw him twice.
Yeah.
And it was just like really cool. He was at the barbershop cutting, and I'm like, hey, how are you doing? I was like, oh, listen to my music. I got some new music. I was like, that's really cool. How you doing? How are the kids? And we like, oh, okay. All right. I left there and I felt really confident.
Yeah.
I felt pretty bold.
And that just shows you too. This is another thing. What I like, what you just said too. Earlier, I had mentioned the word willpower. Sometimes you just don't have that willpower that you think you have. That's why it's so important not to put yourself in a situation because you think I'm strong and I got it going on, and you put yourself in it. Because sometimes you're so strong today.
Wait. Okay,
Today.
so he caught me. That's where he should have put Papa B on here. He back there acting like he's sleeping and stuff. Listen. The issue is, I was going to San Diego for my son's birthday. He said he had something to do in San Diego too. But the issue is, I had just had a hurt situation, and I hadn't felt hurt like that over anything in years. I'd been extremely strong for years, and I was in a wounded state.
Yes.
And I went to Hawaii to have a week of healing, to be in the Lord, just to build and everything. But when I was there, I talked to him on the phone, and he was consoling me, and he told me how much he cared, and he's like, I understand. And I was just feeling like I had failed in something that God had me wanting to do, and I was trying to rebuild that. But I recognized, like, my wall was down. Like, I recognized I was in a weak state. And to tell you the truth, if I hadn't felt that weak moment and I didn't feel weak, I don't think, because then the next weekend I was in San Diego. And, and when I went to San Diego for my son's birthday party, he came and he went and hung out with the kids and everything was fine and whatever, until he kissed me.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm in trouble. And you see, I'm like totally.
And you were vulnerable.
I was extremely vulnerable, but I was really
vulnerable.
hurt for the first time.
Yeah.
I felt like I made a mistake. I felt like I felt God or something. I felt like I need to really work on these things and what have you. But what it did is it brought my, whatever that thing was, it brought it down.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if I didn't have that thing, I would have been just fine.
You'd have been fine, absolutely. Yeah, and remember my story.
He caught me when I had the thing.
The same thing with my story.
I felt weak.
Remember the same thing with my story.
Yeah.
She was vulnerable, and I was also trying to practice celibacy, and next thing you know, Jed was a millionaire, right? That's Beverly Hills thing,
Beverly Hills,
Beverly Hills,
well,
Hillbilly.
thank God we didn't have sex. Thank God. That was only Jesus, because my conviction was still there, and
but she was very vulnerable. She was telling me about all of her hurt with her man, and then, like you said, we end up hugging. I was like, oh, it's okay, it's all right. And then she looks at me, and then I look at her, and I'm feeling sorry for her. And then next thing you know, we end up kissing. And then she ended up getting my testosterone. And then all the stuff that we was talking about.
The whole process started.
The whole process started happening.
The cocktail.
The whole cocktails and all of that. And then next thing you know, here we are doing it. And she's screaming out Jesus and God. And
you told it messed you down and shut it all down.
And it shut me down because I was like.
Because he wasn't supposed to be doing it. He been practicing.
I was practicing celibacy. And she's like, oh God, oh Jesus. I'm like, oh Jesus.
You said,
I'm looking behind me like,
is he watching me? Like, so he shut you all day down. That's a good thing.
It shut down.
That's a good thing. Like, he's like, you ain't supposed to be doing this. I'm reminding you. Jesus. But that
shut me down.
No, like, I remember, and then I felt the next day, even just the fact that I'm kissing him, and I'm like, thank God we didn't end up like having sex, or anything. But it was like the next day, I was like, how did that even happen? And I'm thinking, I gotta get rid of this dude. Like, I have to block, delete everything. God told me I'm gonna be getting married. I can't do that. And I knew, like, I'm totally in love with him, and I knew it.
Absolutely.
And he's thinking, everything is the same. Oh my goodness, we still feel the same, and I'm gonna have to marry her. And I'm thinking, I gotta get rid of you. And that's how we end up married today.
Yeah.
Papa
Absolutely.
just walking out. Look at him. He didn't even hear me. So anyway, but that was just one of those things.
Any other questions? That's it?
I thought you were about to close. So I was like, I got a question.
quick. Make it quick. Make it quick.
Oh, it got two. Okay.
Check. Okay. First of all, honoring. Thank you, doctor. Thank you, mom. You guys have been phenomenal. I have a question about how do you find the balance between the chemicals, the whole cocktail, right? And the CEO shutting down. How do you find the balance between that happening to make good choices while that's happening? Because you said that there becomes a time where the chemicals, it starts to decrease, and then it's time for you to build and, start to build the relationship and make good choices because the cocktail's kind of diminished. But what my question is in order to make good choices from the beginning, how do you find that balance even scientifically, chemically, to make sure that you aren't, is it supposed to just be you start making those choices? It's just that's how it's supposed to, we're wired, that's how God made it. Or
yeah. I mean, because everything is by the laws of nature, the way God created it, right? You're going to feel those things. You're going to experience, oh my God, you're going to experience to want to take it to the next step. So that, again, that's when it comes to, we're talking about the willpower thing, right? And also now that you are hearing what we're talking about today, you have a tool.
yes.
And so now you are mindful. And so you use that tool and know, oh, I know what I'm feeling.
Yes.
And I know I'm not going to put myself in a situation. And what's your name?
Geneva.
And I know, hey, Geneva, I know we're having a nice time out here. You want to just stop at the crib for a minute?
Wait, can
Geneva?
I clarify?
Yeah.
When I say good choices, to me, I'm already convicted. I'm like, no, sex will be in marriage. It's already done for me.
Well, absolutely. Well, that's just it. Okay. So you maintain that thought.
Okay.
You maintain that thought because it's before, right? Because you don't want to get in a situation where now you have to worry about the prefrontal cortex shutting down because of all of these chemicals, all of these cocktails, because you're putting yourself in when you're kissing, when you're, because it's a whole bunch. Let me tell you, when you're kissing, it's not just a kiss, but you're kissing, you're smelling, you're touching.
Yes.
All of these things are happening at the same time, and it is very challenging to say no. It is very, very, I would say during that period, you better start praying because look, a lot of people, crackheads, they, when you ask them, they didn't think that they were going to be addicted.
That's good.
They didn't choose to be addicted. They didn't choose to lose their house and their kids and their family. To themselves, they said, hey, I got this.
Yeah. So what's that? Not an overinflated ego, but you should just underestimate yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so that's where boundaries are important, and keeping yourself in boundaries. Like I'm like, we just gonna get something to eat. It's midnight. Okay, we're gonna just watch a movie. It's 1 a.m. Like it's some boundaries you just shouldn't put yourself in because I remember my son. I was telling you, my son was like, he's like, oh, we'll be fine. We're not having sex. We can live in the same house. I was like, no, you can't.
And then she walking around the house with
I told him, I was like,
with a towel.
I was like, no, you cannot.
Or no towel.
I was like, no, you can't. You're not that strong. And I was like, the fact that you think you're strong because you have not been tested in this area. My other son, I was like, you have not been tested, so don't think you're that strong. So I was like, and besides, I was like, as a man of God, you need to look at, the Bible talks about, don't let your good be evil spoken of. Mm-hmm. So, you're not, but you look like it's happening, so you have to be careful about your good being evil spoken of.
That's
you
right.
have to watch the representation. You're representing Christ. You have to watch a lot of things. You have to be careful. You have your siblings watching you, and if you're a leader, and there's a lot of things that you can cause somebody else to stumble. Don't let your freedom cause someone else to stumble. Because look, I'll give you an example. The Bible talks about Elijah, and it says, "I have provided a widow, and she'll take care of you. She'll provide for you." And he meets the woman, and he ends up staying in that woman's house. I was thinking like, Lord, she gonna provide for him. Wait, what? She says, that's the. But then again, I don't know what the houses look like. I don't know if the house was over there, this over here. I don't know, but I don't know. And then there's the couple that made a little apartment for Elisha, and so I'm just saying like there's things I'm sure as the man of God that they had in place to make sure it doesn't look bad, So, but you have to make sure that you're covering, you're protecting. Are you a pastor? Are you a leader? Do you have little kids watching you? Do you have, there's a lot of factors you have to think about. Just because you're not doing anything, you don't even want to give that insinuation. Like, I have a lot of spiritual sons, but I don't want to be in there with my door shut, talking to them and different things. I keep my door open, and it's like a protecting barrier and little things. As one of my spiritual kids one time they fell asleep and it was late. It was really late, and we were like out of town or something, and they were like, and she had kids, and she's like, well, she wanted to know could she sleep in one of the rooms, and I was like, I was telling my husband, I was like, no, because somebody could be down there and they think they see her coming out your office and they think that it's you. She's in the room, even though we're not there. They don't know that you're not there. Like it's 2 a.m. and you just walk into the bathroom, but somebody see you like, oh my gosh, I saw this. You don't even want to give that insinuation.
That's right.
So it's better to just protect. And set boundaries.
Set boundaries and detox. Because okay, I know this is it, but what's finish the statement. Why do I keep attracting what? What's the saying? Who said that?
Same kind.
Why do I keep attracting the same guy over and over again? But listen to this. If you're not completely detoxed, you're not attracting the same guy over and over again. You're actually seeking him. You're actually seeking him. So when the drug dealer goes to jail, does the drug addict stop taking drugs? He goes out and do what?
Finds another dealer.
He's seeking another one. Yeah. So it's called the human leukocyte antigen. So what we're doing is we're going out and we're finding something similar to even the DNA. Wow. We're finding something similar to his jokes, something similar to his smile, something similar to his smell. So we're actually going out still seeking because the body is still yearning for something similar to it.
Wow. The rebound man.
You got to detox. You got to detox.
You got to
get him out your system.
Like, I needed 5 years. I don't know how somebody else needed, but by the time I was so bent backwards, it was really a transformation, And it was like, finally I was like, whatever you want, God, your will, But literally is you have to take that time to see like what were you attracting. And I've heard my girlfriends used to say, what is the scent I'm carrying, or what I got on me? And sometimes you gotta ask God, what is this I have on me that I keep attracting the same type of person? What am I doing? Show me. And then once you ask God to show you, he's like, I thought you'd never ask. He'll reveal it to you and show you, and now you're like, okay, I'm attracting narcissists. Okay, I'm attracting people that are, every guy you attract, he's broke, busted, and disgusted. You're like, or they have this similarity.
Yeah.
Each one of them.
Yeah.
You have to really break that thing off where you're not going after it. You're not seeking it out, and you're not attracting it.
That's right.
It'll be like a magnet.
Get it out your system.
Smokers find smokers. And drinkers find drinkers.
He's calling you.
Cussers find cussers.
Don't answer that
magnet.
phone. Don't answer that phone.
Yeah,
don't let him
delete.
come. Can you come over for a little while just to come and visit? I miss you.
Wait, this is my favorite one.
Baby, I really miss you.
Watch this one, doctor. I need closure. I just need to come talk to you.
Yes. I need closure. Then you in the olden days, when you say I need closure, see you had an opportunity to close it right then. Click with that phone, because you had the phone to hang up.
Some people, especially women, I just need to know why. You're never gonna know why he cheated. You're never gonna know why he did it. You're never.
Yeah.
I need to know why. You're just not gonna get that.
You're not going to get that.
just
When you
leave
say,
it
I
alone.
need closure, he's not talking to me. He is. He's talking to you loud and clear. He's talking to you loud and clear. He's not calling me. He doesn't want to. He's not talking. He is talking to you loud and clear. Nonverbal communication. He doesn't have to give it to you verbally. He's telling you, I don't want you. I don't want to be with you.
Now, how come sometimes people don't want to? Okay, I know we're done, but like, how come people can't accept that? I have some women that like, listen, you tell me you done with me, you ain't got to tell me twice.
Absolutely.
You tell me you don't want me, you don't have to tell me twice.
Absolutely.
You tell me you don't love me, you don't have to tell me twice.
Absolutely.
But I have some people
Because we're still addicted.
that
We
the
are
man or
still
the woman is told,
addicted.
I don't want you, I don't like you, you're ugly, your mama ugly, your feet are ugly, I can't stand you, and you still like, I can make it work. What in the world is that?
Have you? I mean, we've all seen movies, and we probably have experienced our family members, or we probably experienced our best friends that was on drugs, and you say to yourself, why are you still doing this knowing that you're losing your house? Because he's addicted.
Right.
Why are you doing this? And you know your wife is saying, all you got to do is stop taking the drugs and I won't get a divorce and we can start all over.
And you do it all over again.
Why can't you get off the drugs?
This is the last time.
I'm addicted. Because you are addicted. Remember, again, love is giving each other the chemicals. When I buy you flowers, it activates an emotional feeling in you. Look, when I buy you flowers, do you just go, thank you? What do you do? Give me some emotional feelings.
Thank you, so thoughtful.
Smelling it, that's an emotional reaction. That makes you feel, right? Aren't you feeling when you say, oh, isn't that a feeling? Isn't that making you feel good,
Yes.
right? When you come home, flowers is on the floor and dinner is made, right?
Yes.
Right? You're going, oh, baby, right? That's making you feel good. That's making you feel. That's why it's important to understand it's a choice and a feeling, and you choose if you want to continue this feeling that this person is giving you.
So quickly, since we only have like 60 seconds, give us steps to detox that, to get rid of that, to break that, to get unfamiliar with it, to stop chasing it, stop hunting it, stop wanting it, stop desiring it. Go ahead.
Real fast, and we've covered it. We've actually covered a lot of it.
Cancels, bind up.
Yeah.
Tell yourself to let it go.
Let it go.
Decree,
Stop it.
stop,
Remember, stop
say
it.
no.
Every time you start thinking about that significant other, this is so cool. This is so cool. My professor taught me this. And I used it just in general. Sometimes when I'm thinking negative, right? When I'm thinking things, it's tell the brain, stop it. So every time you keep saying stop it, you're creating that neural network and you're creating, remember when I talked about those neurons? The dendrites and so every time you say stop it, you're telling a neuron. And you keep saying, stop it. You're telling a neuron. What you are actually doing is birthing a neuron. You're making a neuron now a new neuron.
A new neuron.
A new neuron.
The no neuron.
And it's creating a pathway for you. So every time you start thinking about him, say, stop it. Here's the neuron. Stop it.
It's
Here we go.
growing.
It's growing.
This is the pathway of escape.
Start going, and it's
Tell
giving
yourself,
you the
no,
pathway.
This is over. Tell yourself this is over. I have a new life. I'm going a different direction.
That's right.
God has greater things for me.
That's right.
No, we're not going to be together. No. But you're like, well, what if I'm praying and I want it restored? Look, the Lord, if he said no, let it go. If God going to put it back together, let God put it back together. But you have to mentally be strong and be able to function and move forward. So create that new neuron, that new
Create that new
pathway.
neuron. It works, I'm telling you. And it's less, and it helps your stress too. It brings the stress level down. Because, and the more you tell it, and then remember when I said, now you got this new neuron, the neuron goes and tells the other ones what? Hey, she said, stop it. She said, we can't think about that anymore. So stop
Amen.
it. So it goes all
This
through
is
the
good.
brain. It says,
All
stop.
right. You guys give it up for Dr. Ryeal Sims. We're having some therapy today.
Thank you.
Therapy. Wow, this is a really good one. Is it good, guys? Yeah. All right. Okay. So go tell your friends, your family. Build some new neurons. Wow, this is amazing. You are watching Lifeline TNT, our true story. You can find us here every Tuesday. So make sure you watch, click the thumbs up, the subscribe, the share, and we will be back for great information, wonderful information and content each week. I'm Prophetess Taryn Tarver Bishop. Have a great day. God bless.
And please give me testimonies. They said that they would give a testimony on the camera. Yeah. It could be just a few seconds of what you think. I'd like to use it on my website and stuff like that.
Oh, we made all those songs. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I gotta get my voice on one of these.
Oh yeah, for sure. We have a studio.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, come on now. You got to write a song for me.
Anytime. Spiritually, I'll do it. It takes me a second.